Shabbat Shalom to everybody here in person and on Zoom. I think I now completed my 7th year here. You've gotten to know my interests. A new one is golf, but certainly reading and teaching about history. And I think I shared that my in-laws have a house now in Rhode Island, so I think about also what's going on up there. And so last week, around July 4th, I actually taught on Zoom towards the end of Shabbat. I shared George Washington's letter to the synagogue Yeshuat Yisrael that's in Newport, one of the older congregations. It's still functioning. It's called the Turos Synagogue now. And the letter says that bigotry has no home and that the stock of Abraham has a home here in the country, in this new country. And if you look at the website, you really see that it's an act of politics on both sides, because the congregation reached out to Washington, and actually they were granted an audience when Washington finally visited Newport as a reward for Rhode Island being the last state to ratify the Constitution. He wouldn't come visit it until they were officially a state. But Isaac Toro, who the synagogue is now named after, he was actually a loyalist. And the synagogue was used as a hospital for the Union soldiers, for the British soldiers. And so Jews have ingrained in their memories, in their historical memories, that when a new regime comes, are they going to be good for the Jews? And the Jews of Newport, and really the Jews all over the new country, in Charleston, in Philadelphia, and New York, did not know what this country was going to mean for the Jewish people, especially since some of them had been loyal to the British cause, because the British crown had actually been loyal to the Jewish people, at least for a little while. We know what happened earlier in the Middle Ages, but kings change and the power system changes. So Jews were able to thrive in the British Empire. What about this new country? Well, George Washington actually had a political reason to want the Jews to be here, not just because they were able to finance things, but because he wanted to get the Bill of Rights passed. And the Bill of Rights had an amendment. Actually, by the way, it was the third proposed amendment. The first two got rejected, so it became the first amendment in the Constitution. Obviously, is the separation of church and state and the ability to practice your religion freely. And so Washington was going around the 13 states trying to get clergy and churches and communities on board with this Bill of Rights. And so he wanted the Jewish people. And so they had reached out to him, perhaps as a way of sort of saying, we're now loyal to you, even though we were once loyal to the British. And Washington said, please come along, we will support you. And hence the First Amendment, which obviously doesn't just have freedom of religion, but has freedom of the press and freedom of assembly to redress grievances, came into being and has really become part of our country. And so for 232 years, that the ratification of the Constitution came in 1789. Actually, 1790 is when Rhode Island did it. In some ways, that's the birth of our country, more than 245 years in 1776. But I guess you needed a war before you could have the Constitution. So for 232 years, as a Jewish community here, we have really been able to use the political system to get us to have our freedom, to get all the protections that we need, because we know that unfortunately we can't stop all of our citizens from being anti-Semitic or from anti-Semitic forces coming in from outside of the country. And so we have to continue to show our political leaders and show ourselves as being united that the Jewish people are loyal to this country and are in need of protection. Why do I bring that up? Because many of you know that tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock in Washington, D.C., as well as being broadcast here in this room, is a rally in Washington. It is called No Fear, a rally to combat anti-Semitism. We are not going to be fearful in this country. We should not be fearful as that rabbi in Brighton, Massachusetts 2 weeks ago, who was just walking to work and was stabbed in the middle of the street. We shouldn't be fearful. Should we be wearing our kippah? Should we be announcing that we are Jewish, or should we not? We need to get our political leaders, we need to unite as a Jewish community around this. And so Elisha Wiesel, the son of Eli Wiesel, has really learned from his father and picked up the mantle of combating anti-Semitism and promoting tolerance. And so tomorrow at this rally, we have Rabbi Jeffrey Myers, who's the rabbi of the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, speaking, as well as the stabbing victim who belongs to the Chabad sect. If anything shows Jewish unity, then that, I don't know what else does. And so I encourage you, if you want to get on a bus tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., you can sign up tonight. There's a bus leaving from here at 7 a.m., or you can get into your own car or on a train. Or if you want to, come join us in this room at 1 o'clock to watch the rally. And whether you attend it or not, or watch the rally or not, please contact every single political leader from every single level and letting them know, A, that you are loyal to them, we as a Jewish community are loyal to them, but also that we are asking for their support, that hate and bigotry has no home in this country, whether you're Jewish, Black, white, Hispanic, or any type of group that is persecuted. Bigotry has no home here. And let us say, Amen.